thing that must be taught, it must be the Holy Spirit, because this issue goes very deep and far. But even some of the people who were born again fell off this bridge into the valley. There are different reasons for this, including the following. First of all, I saw many born-again Christians in church, but who are carrying heavy burdens. Some are carrying them on their heads, others on the backs, others are dragging them like bags, in both their left and right hands. Yet the Holy Spirit was trying hard, speaking to them day and night, trying to help them with their burdens, but the people wouldn't let him. Remember, this bridge is like a thread. You just can't cross over it, if you are heavy laden. So such people couldn't cross it. They just fell through the valley Gehenna with their heavy loads and burdens. I saw many other people on the outside were looking good. But deep inside, their hearts were rotten, so much that parts were falling off their rotten hearts. Deep inside, their hearts were badly swollen and rotten. Such people too couldn't cross this bridge, they were falling with their hearts into this valley of Gehenna. Other people had small hearts and they looked good on the outside, but their bodies were covered with very sharp swords. In their faces were sharp swords, in their hearts were sharp swords, and in their back were equally sharp swords. In their ribs, and in both hands, they had 4 sharp swords, hanging from every side. This means such people were piercing every person from every side who came into their midst. These kinds of people also could not cross the bridge. They were just falling off into the valley with their piercing swords. Others looked like people who were waiting on the Lord, but they didn't worship God in spirit and in truth, and they had not understood the ways of the Lord. These too fell into the dark valley. Others were troubled in their thoughts by the cares and concerns of this world. They were worried about finances and debts and worried about children and other things. The Holy Spirit had been speaking to these people, trying to help them, but they would not let him do it. They continued worrying over the things of this world, and this drew them further away from God's presence until they died. Other people were very lame, crippled in the spirit, beyond description. Outside they were looking normal and okay, but in the spirit, they were terribly crippled. Some were blind and others were deaf. This means that such people could neither see the Holy Spirit nor hear what he was saying to them. Such people also fell off the bridge and perished into this dark valley. Other people had very bad hearts. They were filled with hatred, malice, envy, unforgiveness, frustrating others, unholy, people who don't seek God, people who don't pray to God, and things like that. All such people too could not cross this bridge. They would just fall through into Gehenna. Others were very heavy in spirit, but light in the body. This means that it was very hard for them to do the things of God but very easy for them to do the things of the world. But remember, this bridge is like a thread. People who succeed in crossing over it are those who are light in the spirit, not in the body. People who are light in the body but heavy in spirit can't cross over it. Some of the few people who managed to cross this bridge and get to heaven had some amazing things I noticed. In the world, such people looked like dead people. They were dead in the flesh, but alive in the spirit. It was as if their eyes, senses, hearts, thoughts, their whole life was dead. They were so united with the Holy Spirit to the extent that he was light covering them all over. Such people were so attentively tuned to the Holy Spirit, obeying every simple instruction he gives them, and doing only what he tells them. These people looked like they were dead, so dead that even if you took a needle and pierced it through their flesh, they would not react at all. They were all in spirit. I was greatly surprised by this. These people were so dead to the flesh and the world, and so totally surrendered and consecrated to the Holy Spirit, that they had allowed him to do whatever he desires in their lives. I saw these people were crossing this bridge very easily. And I saw them walking with the Holy Spirit, as he was leading them through it. I saw some children who had died with their mothers during the process of birth. These were arriving at this place with their mothers, the mother in front, and the child following from behind. I saw such newly born babies actually walking, following their mothers. But the mother was not aware of the child, and the child was not aware of its mother. All of them were looking to the Holy Spirit, as the only person who could help them cross over. Indeed, every person on this bridge is helpless. Then there were these children who died with their mothers as they were trying to abort them. I saw such babies crawling on their own, with their mothers being not even remotely aware of their existence. It's a very complex picture there. There is nothing you can remember at the bridge, or even in heaven. As for heaven, it is so good there is nothing that can upset you, there is nothing to regret, there is nothing you can miss in this world. Heaven is heaven. But life at the bridge is very hard. Every person is responsible for themselves. Only the Holy Spirit can help you. I saw some people who during their earthly life neglected the Holy Spirit, hoping to turn to Him when they arrive at a place like this. But now it was impossible because such people were not one with Him from the very beginning. You have to leave this world walking with Him, if He is to help you cross that bridge. This is because, when you arrive at the bridge, there is a supernatural power that leaves you and unites with the power of the Holy Spirit who is at the bridge. It is this combined force that then carries you across the bridge. If you don't have this supernatural power, you just fall into the valley of Gehenna. Another thing, if you don't listen carefully to the instructions of the Holy Spirit, even if you miss just a few steps, if He tells you to move and instead you stop, or if He tells you to stop and instead you move, etc., you end up falling through into the valley, without any hope of coming back. There are so many things that prevent people from crossing this bridge to heaven, but let me stop discussing these for now. Angels and the Holy Spirit on the highway of salvation. Although there are also many angels on the way of salvation, the people traveling on this way don't know they are there. As a result, these angels don't work. Every angel is just standing in their position, doing nothing. They are just looking at the people, for what can the angels do for these mad people? So these angels just look on, until the end of time when they will be withdrawn or redeployed by God. And I also saw that in this way of salvation, the Holy Spirit is also there, trying to help the people. But the people are not willing to be helped. They are mad, they don't hear, they are deaf, they are blind, they are just moving up and down. There are so many things in the way of salvation, many of which I haven't narrated. Believe the Holy Spirit to help you. Everywhere I go many people ask me, how do I know what God created me to do for Him here on earth? Let me help you with that question. In order to know everything that is of the truth, you need the Holy Spirit. In everything you need on the earth, the most important of all is the Holy Spirit. He is actually life for you, more necessary than your own life here on earth. Holy Spirit guides us into knowing the task that God sent us for. The problem is that we do not want to obey. We hear Him but we do not want to obey. Holy Spirit speaks to everyone, even in a witch doctor's shrine, or in a disco hall, etc. He speaks to us all the time and we hear Him but most people do not want to obey Him. If you have not understood your task well, ask the Holy Spirit to tell you. He will explain to you because He was sent to guide us into the ways of righteousness. Ask the Holy Spirit to put you where you were created to be, your position. We should not try to do it yourself because you cannot fight your battles. Let Him do it for you. But be ready to accept the answer that the Holy Spirit may give you. He may tell you to do what you do not want. You have to obey. The Holy Spirit is essential to